let's talk about it, man, because this story started going crazy earlier today, and
Yeah.
a judge ordered Dame Dash to sell his remaining shares in Rockefeller to cover a 823,000 legal debt. Now, Dame Dash lost a copyright infringement lawsuit to Josh Weber. They're working on a film, and some reason, the guy won. Dame owes the money. Now they're ordering him to sell off his, shares in Rockefeller, which we know is very, very sacred to Dame Dash. That's one of the only things he's holding on to. He's been, going back and forth with Jay-Z over the years over this, and now, according to the judge, he has to now get rid of that. I don't know if you heard about this, Sam, man,
I
but
did.
what's your thoughts on this, man? He no more Rockefeller for Dame. It's over.
Yeah, and the end of an era is officially over. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing to be happy about, even though we haven't seen Jay-Z and Dame Dash side by side in a very long time, and those two are Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? So Rockefeller, as we knew it, hasn't been the same since. There was still some residuals and still monetary value in having the moniker of Rocafella Records or owning shares in Rockefeller. And obviously Dame Dash, like you said, held that near dear. It's just unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? We are in business. We know the highs and the lows of business, and we also know one Dame Dash always played big. You know what I mean? Always bet big, always bet on himself. He's been on record and saying that he never really holds any cash that he reinvested in his business. He's always about to flip. And when you play that game, there's a lot of harsh consequences that come behind that. And one of these things are, if something comes, if your car breaks down and you ain't got money to pay for it, then eventually shit starts getting real. You know what I'm saying? The bills start
Yeah,
piling up and things start happening. So on a bigger level, you start grabbing $800,000+ lawsuits and you ain't got it to cover, then those assets are there to cover it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's there for. So it sucks. It's unfortunate. I'm not going to act like I'm surprised at the situation, because this has been Dame Dash and his personality and the way that he's lived throughout these decades and decades is one of the main reasons why we love him. One of the main reasons why we just go, God damn, Dame, come on, bro. But
right.
that is Dame, and the end of the era is officially here in him losing Rockefeller.
Yeah, and I think what's weird about it, man, is that you know, after Rockefeller, it seems like everything that Dame got his hands in, it was kind of he left early, incomplete project, got sued. Somebody's getting that Dame for this, getting that Dame for that, trying to shop somebody's film, didn't have the rights to this, didn't have the rights to that. It's like everything has kind of been a mess,
Yeah,
since Rockefeller. So it makes you kind of wonder, like, damn, did Jay-Z kind of see something, or were things going on where Jay-Z was like, yo, I gotta get rid of this dude right now, or he gonna take this whole company down? Because I mean, honestly, like, let's talk about it. The Culture Vulture project, that was huge. That was the biggest thing in hip-hop. That shit got left high and dry. It's dead now. Dame Dash Studios, what happened to it? And maybe it's still gone. I don't see a lot of promotion with it. Other little things that he jumped into here or there, it seems like it's a little momentum, then it dies. And I get it. I'm not trying to take a shot at him, because I understand we've done a lot of things that failed too,
yeah,
right? We had a lot of ideas of things to do. So that's just in business. You might have 30 things that fail and flop and one thing that pops. I understand it. But on the contrary, I hate to even kind of weigh him against Jay-Z, but what did Jay-Z really have that failed and flopped? Since Rockefeller, he's been ascending, he's been growing, he's been making title moves, flipping shit, selling shit, getting liquor companies, flipping shit, selling shit, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4. You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah.
So my question would be, do you think Dame was the problem the whole time with Rockefeller, or is it a little bit more complex in your opinion?
I think it's a little more complex, but I'll say this. Dame has been known and respected as being the ultimate hustler, right? Everybody loves Dame because he's the ultimate hustler. That does not mean he's a great businessman. And there's a difference between
Right.
the two. There's a difference between knowing how to get money and then knowing how to keep money, knowing how to legally sustain money, knowing how to cross your T's and dot your I's from a business perspective the right way in order
Right.
to be able to maintain the wealth that we all achieve and strive to get one day. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at a Dame Dash and you look at the amount of great ideas that came out of his mouth and out of his way, when you look at the things that we've seen in Rockefeller and him being almost a mouthpiece to the whole thing, it's no question he had his part. But one can argue that anybody that you've seen him do business with, I can't name one person, oh God, not one person that has ever done business with this brother and has something positive to say about it at the end. I'm not talking about actors. I'm not talking about people on his staff that he had the pleasure of being around to show
Talking about
his
partners.
IQ. I'm talking
Partners.
about partners.
Yeah.
I'm talking about legal business partners. I don't know if we've heard anything positive come out as far as the business is concerned. And that's telling. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you think of Jay-Z, you think he's the ultimate devil, he's the king and the head of the Illuminati, he did this, he did that. Anything that he's seemingly touched, and I'm sure he's had failures too, but anything that we've seen him seemingly touch has turned into gold. Period. And when you
Yeah.
look at his partner, who was just as equal as him in that situation, it hasn't. And when you look at the people that Jay's put on since leaving Rockefeller and the amount of wealth that they've received and the attention and things, and then you look at who Dame's put on, there is no comparison. So, like you said, I hate to compare the two, but for the sake of this conversation, you almost have to. And
Yeah.
like I started with, Dame is the ultimate hustler, businessman. I don't know, bro.
Well, I mean, and one thing I will push back a little bit on is that Dame Dash takes credit for like people like Kevin Hart. I know you heard him talking about he put like Kevin Hart on and a lot of other people,
Yeah,
as well. Open the door for a lot of people. I think that you made a good point when you talked about hustler, businessman. See, it's a certain responsibility that comes with businessman. Hustler, you're gonna do anything that's gonna make a couple dollars. You know what I mean? It could be selling drugs. You sell some sneakers, you'll sell some hubcaps, anything you get your hands on. A businessman's kind of going to take his time and cultivate that one thing and make sure that that thing comes into fruition and make sure that he takes care of his responsibilities along the way. With this whole situation with the film company thing where it appeared that he was trying to shop the film, without the guy's consent, and the
can't do
guy
that
on the
shit.
lawsuit. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
Can't do that shit. Can't do that shit. Like,
saying.
damn, dang.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he could argue a lot of things, and he's going to get on a microphone and say a lot of things, and it's going to make it seem like he's right. But the proof is in the pudding, and not to say because he lost a lawsuit or anything like that. But now you're losing. Think about it. This is your probably most prized asset. This is your baby. This is a $300 million company that you guys were able to get together, three guys, and blow this thing up. The last thing that you have to remember of that is now you got to sell it off to pay a debt over a film that never even nobody even saw before.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep.
You
It's
know,
pretty deep.
I'm gonna go further and say not only is his biggest asset, it may be one of his only ones worth
Wow.
anything. Think
Wow.
about it. Think about it. You got a collection of shoes, right? And you got to start unfortunately selling them shoes. You're gonna sell the weakest ones first and keep the highest motherfuckers to the end of the road.
Oh yeah,
Them
for
the
sure.
last pair you're gonna try to get rid of because you know they're the most valuable, they're your most prized possession. If you
Yeah.
could go without moving these motherfuckers, you're gonna do it. Do
Right.
you think in your right mind Dame Dash wanted to do that? Do you think he wanted to concede? This is almost like a forced concession that, damn, I no longer have anything in Rockefeller. Jay-Z might not have anything to do with this shit, but a small victory as this came to Jay-Z because now I don't know who takes over the shares of Dame Dash, the guy that the who takes over those shares. I know the
Well, it says
value,
the
he may get
court.
the value of it, but
It says the court ordered Rockefeller um to deliver Dame Dash's stock certificates to the U.S. Marshal Services
mm,
within 180 days. So I'm not really sure how that
mm,
works. I guess the Marshal Services are gonna. I don't even know how that works, but that's according to the article right there. So he has to give it up. It ain't his no more.
right,
I don't know. Maybe they take Jay-Z and Biggs take. I don't know. It's not
right.
specified, but he don't got it no more. He got to sell it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's let me ask you this and kind of transition to where Dame goes from here.
Right.
Where does he go? Because we've seen him do the movies. We heard him talking about a Paid in Full too. We've heard a lot of big things come out of Dame's mouth over the years, right? And we still got a ton of respect for him, but at the same time, we got to call it like we see it. Well, what's next for Dame now? Do you think now that he has lost such a big asset in his portfolio?
I think the Dame Dash Network. I think that was ahead of his time at the time that he was doing it. But I think at the time he it was almost like us. We get a podcast, right? we want to do 30 shows. We want to create 30 shows ourselves. It's almost impossible. As
Yeah.
opposed to you creating a network, finding the talent, making a deal, and having them go into the network. You're trying to do too much work. Get some shit that's
Right.
already established out there and have them fill the slots for the network. And y'all, have some distribution type of deal, whatever y'all gonna do. But with those type of things, people say, oh, go to Rumble, or they taking over my censorship and this. Like, ain't no flow over there. Ain't no flow on Dame Dash TV. All the flows on Netflix, all the flows on Hulu, and all these different things. So it's easy to make a streaming network. It's very easy. You could do it, but how you gonna get that flow to go over there? You would need some big companies, big shows to actually go over there, like a Power or something like that. And say, all right, you know what? We're going to be exclusively on Dame Dash Network or whatever. Any show you want to throw in there that's commands millions and millions of views every time an episode drops. You would need a handful of that to now, be looked at to be serious. For you playing guitars and shit, having women cooking up vegan meals, that might not cut it as far as, a network. So where does he go from here? I don't know. I haven't really watched to see what he's been into lately.
Yeah.
I honestly I haven't. I know he was doing a rock band at one time. I see him doing a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Dame Dash Network in a long time. I mean, have you seen what he's into lately? I haven't.
Bro, that Dame Dash, no disrespect, that Dame Dash network ain't worth shit.
Damn.
That Dame Dash, it ain't. Why wouldn't he sell that first? Get rid of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't
Yeah.
worth nothing. It ain't
Right.
worth nothing. And not to say that we've seen it coming from the jump, but when you try to do something like that, those are big dreams right there. Big dreams. And there's a lot that has to go into that to make something like that successful. I mean, we flirted around with the idea a few times and we understood how hard, this shit ain't going to be easy if we to do that, because not only are we going against some pretty big corporate machines, who's going to be that one to take a chance and come on our network and really turn it into what it needs to be? Dame Dash got people all over the place in relationships. You would assume he would be able to do that, and it's not happened. It hasn't happened.
And
And
could he
I
even
don't know how the brothers
facilitate
even
a
live it.
power? Could he
Right.
facilitate a power? Like, could he even make that happen? Who knows? Probably not.
No.
How would you how would you do that? I
Right.
guess I don't know if it's just as simple as just playing episodes. It might be bigger than that.
Probably way bigger than that, because they gonna want to see a recoup. The writers, the directors, the person that put it out. That's how they're gonna make their money back on their residuals from people watching it. So
Right.
if Netflix makes a certain amount of money, that's why they could pay their people out up front and do that. Where's Dame Dash getting his money out to pay those people that put all that money into creating that?
Right.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's sad. I don't want to say it's a sad time. But I'm curious to see what happens with Dame Dash after this. I'm curious. So we're going to continue to see the interviews and the slick talk and hear what Dame Dash does best. And are we cool with that, or is it going to be different? We'll see, man.
Right. Before we move on to Wendy Williams, I want to